Twitter is an absolute cesspool. There are people on there that will do absolutely anything to get a like or a retweet. This becomes evident when you look at people such as Plain Potatoes, who goes around harassing people just to get a couple of retweets or likes or views on their videos overall. This is also evident when you look at people like the person I'm talking about today, so-called Twitter philanthropist Bill Polti. I think it's Polti.
Bill Pulte with Twitter Philanthropy.
Now, I know a good portion of you are probably thinking, who the fuck is Bill Pulte? And the answer is, he is just some rich dude giving away his money on the internet. Now, I know what you're thinking as well. Giving away free money? That sounds too good to be true. I mean, why is he giving away his money? Obviously, it should say it in the name Twitter philanthropist, but whenever you actually look at how Bill Pulte behaves and what he's done to various people that he's not only worked with, but promised things to, there's a much darker side to whatever is going on with this man's Twitter. So today, I just wanted to go ahead and look at what exactly Bill Pulte is doing, why he's doing it, and the people that he's fucked over. So let's go ahead and explore the dark side of Twitter philanthropy. So Bill Pulte is a quote-unquote Twitter philanthropist who supposedly gives his own money to people in need that retweet his tweets. Now, a lot of people ask, who the fuck is this rich guy and how did he get rich? Well, Billy Boy over here inherited money from his grandfather, William J. Pulte, a billionaire real estate guy who made quite a bit of cash and was pretty goddamn good at real estate investments. Many people then say, well, I mean, fuck this guy, he's just some rich kid then who didn't earn anything. But Bill wants you to know that he earned his money and he earned a lot of it. How, you ask? Well, he started a non-profit for blight fighting? That's because that's definitely a way that you make a lot of money. And what's blight fighting, you might ask? Well, basically, like, you know those houses in Detroit that look completely broken down, but nobody lives in them. They're just kind of there because people abandon them and shit like that. Well, he buys those, tears them down, and builds something nicer to up the property value. I don't know if he sells the houses for cheaper than they technically should be. I don't know what he does, but it is a non-profit. People donate to help, his organization and whatnot. And from what I can tell, based on like Charity, Navigator, and a bunch of different websites, it doesn't look like they turned too much of a profit. So it doesn't look like he got his money from the blight fighting, but really what he did was he had opened a private equity firm. Now, you may be asking, what's that? Well, basically, he took his grandpa's money and he put it into stocks, specifically real estate stocks. Now, listen, I don't give anybody any shit for coming up with money however the fuck they do so. If I inherited some money right now, I would go invest into real estate too. It's a great fucking idea, and I don't fault anybody for that. But don't go around trying to, say I made all this money on myself and by myself and it was hard work and whatnot. When you inherited your money from your grandfather and then you went back and you fucking just invested that shit. It's not like you were in a goddamn coal mine getting black lung for your whole fucking life to get your millions and billions of dollars. Pulte has been on Twitter since 2009. Now, he had a little following because of his blight fight adventures and pretty much just tweeted about his politics and his nonprofit, but he wasn't a massive figure on the platform back then. Until late 2019, when he posted a tweet essentially saying, retweet and respond by July 2nd with your story for a chance to win $10,000. Sounds great, right? Well, subsequently, on July 3rd, he did a live stream on Twitter announcing the winner and also announcing he would be doing many more giveaways in the future. Now, I mean, I could go in on this video and talk about how the guy who won looked totally uninterested, and it was just a really awkward interaction that occurred on this live stream, but I'm not going to go ahead and get into that. It seems like a nice thing what he did. He clearly used it for publicity, but he was just, giving away $10,000 to a veteran. That's awesome. After this, after he, talked to Robert, the winner of the $10,000 giveaway, he made it clear once more that he would be doing many more giveaways in the future and to follow him, so you could be on the lookout for that. In July of 2019, Pulte's Twitter gained more followers than it ever had before. He had gone from 500 to 1,000 followers in a month to gaining 10,000 followers in July alone. He received a retweet from Donald Trump on July 10th of 2019 when Bill promised a veteran $30,000 if Trump retweeted. This gave him some media attention, and from there his success kept ramping up. In August, he gained a whopping 124,000 followers and peaked at a 468,000 follower increase in 1 month during September of 2019. It's honestly kind of creepy though. His fan base is a bit like a cult. Like, if you look at his replies, there are basically no naysayers, probably because they're all blocked. Tons of people are blocked by Bill Pulte. But when there is someone calling him out, they all band behind Pulte just because he's doing a little good for people here and there, regardless of what else he does. Further, he tweets some weird things like, "Do you love me?" And all of his yes men that want cash reply, "Of course, Bill, of course I love you." But why the fuck are you tweeting out, "I love you, do you love me?" It's just a weird tweet for anybody to be putting out there. It's a bit egotistical. Now, let's start with some of the less egregious stuff when it comes to Pulte's scandals. First of all, it's good to ask, what is in it for Bill Pulte? Now, this is a good question because he's seemingly a well-off businessman. Why is he just out there giving away his money to random people on Twitter? And, well, the best way that you can really look at it to understand what's in it for Bill Pulte is that it is a big tax write-off for his company. Basically, all of these giveaways, all of these money giveaways, are sweepstakes ran by his company, Polti Capital Partners. And anytime that you have a company doing a giveaway, that giveaway money can then be written off as an advertising expense. So then you don't have to give them that money for taxes because, it was a business expense for advertising. So essentially what he's doing is he's getting out of paying a certain amount of taxes and is just getting free advertising for this. And this is overall the main reason that I think Pulte is doing this, because, why give money to the government? Say, why give $100,000 to the government when you could just give $100,000 out to random people and get insane media coverage from mainstream media as well as random people on Twitter and etc. Now, I want to say I am not against tax write-offs, all right? If I am of the mindset that if you have a loophole that you can exploit in the law, absolutely go for it. It's your job to exploit it. Still is a little shady how he goes out there and he is nonstop, claiming how much good he's doing for everybody and all this other shit, when ultimately there are selfish intentions probably behind it. And on top of this, this is a sweepstakes, meaning that the winner of the sweepstakes does have to pay the taxes. So if you win $10,000, then you will have to pay the taxes on that money. It is not up to Polti to pay that. The only time that it would be up to Polti to pay that is if he were actually just doing gifts to people. So, for example, if you have a family member or a friend that you give $10,000 to, you would need to claim that on your taxes, because if it's a gift, then it's not, the taxes don't go on to the other person, it goes on to you, the person giving away the gift. Now, that's all I really had to say regarding taxes, but let's go ahead and look at some of his sweepstakes rules, because there's some sketchy shit going on there. One thing that he does that's really weird is for his tweets, he's required to put in the link to the rules regarding the sweepstakes. So you can always see that in his tweets, he'll have, polti.org/r. However, there's a space placed into the link so that people can't just click the link. They have to go ahead and copy it or type it in to the bar themselves, which it's just a little strange. It's nothing that I would normally fault somebody for, but it's in every tweet this way. And it's almost as if he wants that extra step to be in there so that way people don't get too curious to actually go to it, because I feel like people are fairly lazy. Like if somebody has to take an extra step to remember a link or copy down a link or something along those lines, they might not do it, when if you can just click the link, the odds are, if you're interested, you're gonna click it. But you have to be real interested to copy it down, open up a whole extra tab and whatnot. So I feel like this is a way for him to get people to stay away from his rules for his sweepstakes. But regardless, I did go over them, so let's go ahead and talk about some of these sketchy rules. So for an example, your data that you enter is theirs. They own that. The rules say the following: by submitting an entry, you agree that your entry is gratuitous and made without restriction, and will not place sponsor under any obligation. That sponsor is free to disclose the entry and the ideas contained in the entry on a non-confidential basis to anyone, or otherwise use the ideas without any additional compensation to you. This essentially means that they can use your story all they want, they can use your likeness, they can use your entry regardless of how you feel, and they can then profit off of your story, your likeness, and your entry without any further compensation to you. Also, another thing that's really weird in the rules is they can just give you something other than what you won. Like if you won a $10,000 car, they could theoretically give you $10,000 worth of meat. There's a stipulation in the sweepstakes rules saying that if you do win a prize, then according to the sponsor, quote unquote, it is possible that a prize of equal retail value can be given instead of whatever was initially promised. So again, $10,000 car, $10,000 worth of meat, technically equivalent. They could theoretically swap that out. Not that they have, but it is something that they do reserve the right to do. Further, they don't guarantee the mechanical quality of things they give away, like cars. This is specifically said in the sweepstakes rules once more. And there's even more weird shit in there, but nothing else is insanely significant or stood out. It's just that, they own your data. They can trade out whatever the fuck you won for something else entirely. There's some other shit about if your entry is misaligned with anything that they or their company agrees with, then they have the right to, pull away your prize and etc. So again, just some normal shit. Like I don't really have any problems with these because these are just kind of legalese, but it is a little weird, especially the mechanical thing and being able to just swap it out. But most importantly, they can profit off of your story and anything you put in your entry. Now let's go ahead and get into the two more egregious things that I think he's done. Now, before we get into it, I do want to say a big thank you to Red, White, and FU, specifically Mindy Robinson. There's a really good article that I'm going to have linked in the description below that goes over all of the bullshit that Polti has pulled and some receipts to show proof and whatnot. But basically, there are two instances that I want to go over here, which is Code of Vets and the man with the autistic son that was promised a therapy puppy. Now, first off, we start with Code of Vets. Essentially, Code of Vets is a charity organization that had worked with Polti in order to get some cars for veterans and etc. Now, Polti went on to work with Code of Vets and whatnot. However, when it came media time, he took all of the credit, for the most part, for the work that was done in getting these cars and was talking about how it was his money and etc. And Code of Vets didn't like that because apparently they had helped a lot get with getting these cars and helped a lot with finding these veterans and etc. So they were upset and they cut ties with Polti. Now, a little while later, there was a man that was promised a therapy puppy by Polti. Now, he was promised this therapy puppy, and then Polti never came through with the therapy puppy for the man's autistic son. After this, the guy posted some screenshots of the conversation that he had with Polti as proof that Polti did promise him this puppy and never kept his end of the deal. However, after this was posted, Polti then claimed that the man doxed him. The reason that he claimed that the man doxed him is because in the screenshots there is a business phone number that is visible. However, this business phone number was public and was available ahead of time before this screenshot was ever posted. And also, he had given this man who won a puppy his seemingly private phone number. I don't understand exactly what Polti was saying there. If you're not using your business phone for this type of thing, then what the fuck are you using, and why are you using a personal number? But again, this phone number was already out there and available, but he went ahead and started freaking out, saying that this man doxed him. Here is a tweet, for example. My wife and I believe doxing of our personal data was done in retaliation by a man. We've learned that Coda Vets calls the doxer family and is retweeting the doxer this morning. We are ending our support for Gretchen and Coda Vets. Will you support me helping other veterans? Now, essentially, Coda Vets was friends with the man that Polti fucked over, and they retweeted the guy that Polti fucked over, and because of this, Polti is now saying that Coda Vets is terrible and that these people are just trying to dox him and etc. I think that Polti saw that he was getting some bad PR because he had fucked up, and he just went ahead and backlashed instead of apologizing and giving the guy the puppy. The best thing to have done would have been just give the guy the puppy. Not a big deal. I mean, a puppy is not that expensive, my guy. It really cannot be. Like, hold on, let's look up how much a therapy puppy is. 250 for 8 sessions. Yeah, it costs 250 for the sessions and then however much for the actual dog itself. So, it can't be more than a couple K. I mean, depending on the type of dog you get, whether it's pure breed or not. But so essentially, he has continued calling people stalkers and etc. He's claiming that he's opened up various philanthropy suits, which is fucking retarded. There is more. Again, there's a lot more in this Red, White, and FU article. I highly suggest you go and read it. Of course, it's a biased article. Don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily believe every last word written in it necessarily. I haven't done enough research on my own besides what I've already done to fully 100% guarantee that everything in this article is correct. But if he for sure definitely fucked over this dude with the puppy, and he for sure fucked over Coda Vets by taking all of the credit and etc. But those are the two bigger scandals that I wanted to go over, as well as, you know, like I mentioned before, why he was doing it and what he was gaining, etc. Now, look, I can already hear the people saying, yeah, there's some shit he's done, but at least he's helping people. And I agree, helping people is great. Even a shit person like Bill Pulte can do nice things for people. But there are legitimate people out there, like somebody such as Mr. Beast, who actually does good things for people without being malicious or without screwing people over. And when I see someone like Mr. Beast teaming up with Polti, it's just fucking depressing. Also, I haven't even touched upon the fact that he's giving all these people hope, and these people are likely not going to get chosen. Now, many people will say, well, what's wrong with hope? And my response is that if you're too busy hoping someone will come along and save you, you'll never find a way to save yourself. Now, this can fall into a philosophical argument, honestly, which is why I've avoided bringing it up for this video, but I figured it was worth the quick mention. So, in conclusion, do I think that Bill Pulte is an absolutely irredeemable human being that's just a complete piece of shit? No, I mean, obviously he has helped certain people, and that is a good thing at the end of the day. I just wish that we would not give these people publicity, because he clearly has done some sketchy shit, he clearly has done some things that he shouldn't be, he clearly has some rules in his sweepstakes that are a little off and weird. There's just some shit that I'm like, I wish that we had some better-hearted people out there getting the publicity and credit for these types of things, such as Mr. Beast. But overall, that's all I want to say in this video. It's been a long video. I'm just editing it now. I'm at the end of editing. So thank you all for watching. I just want to remind everybody my EP is going to be out on December 2nd, and there's going to be about 12 songs probably on it. There's 10 right now. I'm going to add two more to it. And that's about it. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you disagree or if you have anything extra to add, then definitely go ahead and leave it in the comments below. And if you see Bill Pulte on Twitter, let people know. He's a bitch.